So you're saying that ownership is a two-edged sword, a double-sided coin?
Oh yeah, obviously if you look at the financial side with what's happening with prize money, it's not good. Obviously other countries are a lot better, like France. You know, you're lucky if you get back 15-20% of what you put into racing, but it's a passion, it's a way of life, it's a very expensive hobby. And when you get the highs, when you have a winner, you can't explain it unless you've experienced it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, we've been with the Pierce family now since 1989, so nearly 45 years. And we've been lucky enough to have, not all with the Pierces, but 69 winners. About at least 45 of them with the Pierces. So we've been with the family a long time. Very trustworthy, which is very important in the ownership world, being able to trust the trainers.
Yeah.
So obviously with Lydia and Simon, Simon's partner Sophie, both being jockeys, it helps.
Yeah.
So and as I say, honesty about your horses is one of the most important things. But like I say, over the years, you know, you live your life. We've done okay in life and can afford to have a few horses. And it's like nothing else. It's, I say, like you could own a yacht, you could do lots of things, but owning a horse is absolutely fantastic. It's great now. You get the syndicate, so a lot of people can pay £100 and feel involved.
And that's growing, isn't it?
That's growing, of course, yeah, which is great. But I say, English racing, with the affordability checks, that's really been damaging to the horse racing world, that the government are intent on bringing in. It means sometimes you can't even have a decent bet on your own horse,
Right.
even if you can afford it, and they want to see your tax returns, which is very intrusive. So that's one bad thing that I think is not helping racing at all. I know that quite a few owners have already left the game because of that. So that's not good. But overall, it's a passion. We've had some of the best days of our life being owners,
Yeah.
and that's what we do it for.
And do you go to all the races, or as many as you can?
As many as we can, yeah, as many as we can. We're lucky enough to have a really decent horse. We own, myself and my partner Eric Jones, we own Stormcatcher.
Oh wow.
He very, not normally, but he won just under I think £90,000 last year in prize money,
Right.
which is very rare. He did very well. He won about four races last year. He's won this year, so we've been very lucky in having a decent horse. You know, you're not always.
How many horses do you have here? I mean, in Newmarket.
Only with Simon. We only go
Okay.
with Simon because, as I say, we trust the family implicitly, and Simon's a very good trainer. If he had more opportunities, I think he'd have a lot more winners. If you look at his winners to runners ratio, it stands out with any small trainer.
Yeah.
I think if he had the ammunition, he could do very, very well. I've got 2 or 3 in partnership with Eric, and then we've got 3 or 4 on our own.
Right.
So yeah, we've just got a couple of 2-year-olds in that we come to watch this morning.
And it's nice to see the yard filling up, I would think, for you.
Yeah, of course, yeah. He deserves it, Simon. I mean, it's so hard, especially for small trainers, to make a living now. It's a way of life for them. I mean, if you went in it to make money, it's more or less impossible. But I say it's a way of life. It's a passion for them as well as the owners, and it's great to see quite a few more horses in the yard.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we could do with another 10 at least. So anybody out there watching, send your horse to Simon. He's a good trainer, as I say, trustworthy.
Hi guys, my name is Brett. I'm the owner down here at Gigi's Wine Bar in Newmarket, the capital of the horse racing world, as people call it, the headquarters. And I moved to Newmarket sheerly because the love of racing, and I saw there was a small gap in the market to own a wine bar. And from now on and going forward, I'm just happy to be here and get involved in the horses. And that was the real reason why I moved to this great town. People ask me why the name Gigi's, and I don't know if many people know the answer. It's a collective name for horses, and when I was growing up, my dad was a booking and my granddad was into horse racing, and we'd always sit down on a Saturday. I'd be down the My dad was a bookmaker, so we was down the betting shop, and it was always the GGs are on at whatever time, and we'd sit there and watch it on the TV. So hence, I've always known horse racing as GGs, hence that's the name of the bar. So it still resonates with me to this day. And even people who live in Newmarket, they ask that question, and that's the answer. So, yep, I moved to Newmarket 2 years ago, really just to be here to see the horses, because I absolutely adore them and love everything about them. And I've been lucky enough that my father had racehorses when I was younger, so I was always going racing as a young lad, and it's followed all the way through to where we are today. And one of my ambitions was, when arriving in Newmarket, I wanted to have a racehorse, but then if you look at the cost of having a racehorse, it can be quite expensive. So it's you've got to try and find a way around the best way you can to afford to get involved in the sport and enjoy it as much as humanly possible. And it's been a huge eye-opener to see how much these horses can actually be sold for, anything from 1,000 guineas up to seeing horses go through the ring at Tattersalls for upwards of 5 million. So, and on my budget, I'm probably shopping in the 5p shop. That's if I'm lucky, possibly a 2p shop. But listen, there's horses that are out there for everybody. I've been very lucky so far since I've been up here. Got involved with just a couple of friends. We managed to buy a couple of horses. It's not easy finding ones at such a low level that you think have a possibility of winning. But I managed to find, first of all, a big horse that you've probably seen on the programme called the Bun. And he's a lovely big horse. He's got a great future. And we bought him from Godolphin for not a lot of money, and he's run second 3 times, and he's now rated 76, and he's out with Robbie and Kirsty Mills, having a nice holiday and beefing himself up, ready for coming back for hopefully over a jump season, because I love both codes, the flat and the jumps. And I was also very lucky to pick up a wonderful little filly called Go Go Yabari from a very good trainer, Amy Murphy. And I just thought the horse may need a change of scenery. And I was very good friends with Dylan Kuna, the South African trainer, who's making huge waves here in Newmarket. He's a great guy, very, very nice, very easy to get along with. And in my opinion, I think he's very, very good. So we picked up this little filly called Go Go Yabari for 5,000 with some friends of mine. And she's now occupying most of the wall behind me, where she's won 5 times this year already and been placed 4 times. So she's certainly paying her way. And we've had some of the best days out that I've ever had in racing. And what's great is to do it with friends and people I've met in the bar. And since I suppose the success of Go Go Yabari and the Bun, people have been asking me, can we get involved with you, Brett? Can we get involved in some horses with you? So we've decided between a couple of friends to start a GG's racing club and a syndicate. They're 2 totally different things. The club is more of an information basis where you can watch all of our horses that are in the syndicate without actually being involved, paying any annual fee. There will be a very, very small subscription where you can just follow the horses, and you can come down to see the horses in the stables, and obviously go up Warren Hill, which is probably one of the most magical places in the world, in my opinion. Warren Hill has an atmosphere, and it's such a spectacle. And unless you've actually been here, you won't appreciate how beautiful it really is. And the other side is syndication, of being involved more with the horse, where you actually own a percentage of the horse. And the reason why I believe that syndication is the way forward is because people like myself, who can't afford probably to have the whole horse, they can still have the same enjoyment for a fragment of the price. And everyone asks me, it's not yours. I do say to people, when they win, and 2 of the guys that are in the Go Go Yabari, when the horse first won, said it's probably the best day of their lives, including when their children are born. I hope their wives are not listening to this. But they said it was just phenomenal. And I don't think it ever goes through your head if you own 24%, 1%, 10%, 50%. And if you do own 100%, you want all your friends there with you anyway. And it's a bit like if people go to watch football or rugby, you go and cheer your team on, you're elated if they win or lose, but you actually don't own part of Man United, Liverpool, West Ham or whatever. You're there for the spectacle with your friends and enjoying the ambience. And that's the same with horse racing. I think horse racing, obviously the Sport of Kings, is my opinion, one of the greatest sports of all time. And it's lovely to be a part of that. And I know a lot of people will do the maths and say, well, look at the prize money, look how much it costs to keep a horse. And if you want to go down that road, you're probably right. But I do know the trainers, especially in Newmarket, all the trainers do a fantastic job. They work really, really, really hard. And I know there's not that much money in training a racehorse from their side. It's not as if they're trying to put the training fees up so high so they can earn more money. It's cost of living. It's like travelling to a racecourse now, where 15 years ago it cost a fraction of the price that it does now. But obviously that's including the fuel prices, etc. So the whole thing has got more expensive. The only thing that hasn't gone up as quick is the prize money. And being both sides of it, having betting shops with my dad, owning racehorses and also gambling as well, so I can see it from all different aspects, the prize money hasn't really gone up in the last 20 years. And that is for various reasons, which is probably way above my pay grade. But I do honestly believe that the reason why is that the betting companies now based mainly offshore, and they don't put as much money into horse racing as they should. And if you look at models in Hong Kong, Australia, America and even France, their prize money is substantially more than what it is here. And that's the reason they have a tote pool system where all the money goes back into the racing and gets shared out with the prize money. In this country, unfortunately, the bookmakers take a huge percentage out of it and don't, in my opinion, put enough back into it. But that's another debate and another story. But going back to the ownership of horses, it's a way of people getting involved, loving the sport, going to a day's racing. There is something very special about being in the parade ring, meeting a jockey, being there with 1, 2, 5, 10, whatever friends there are, or members of the club. You get to meet new people, which I know for a fact opens up business opportunities as well. There's a lot of people that have done a lot of business because they met people in the syndicate. And you get the whole experience when you go racing. Not only you can watch all the races there, but you're involved. You're in the owners and trainers bar or the owners and trainers restaurant, wherever it may be, and you really feel that you're connected to the horse. Obviously, the winners and the losers, they're going to come with anything you do. And if people are looking to think of getting into syndication of racehorses to earn X amount of money, I would say probably that's the wrong way to look at it. And it's a bit like golf. I love to play my golf, and the amount of golf balls that I lose, plus my membership, actually costs me a nice few quid a year to play golf. But it's a hobby, it's something that we go out to enjoy. And it's the same with racing. I'm very lucky to live in close proximity to Dylan Cooner and Simon Pearce, and I probably go 4 or 5 times a week to see the horses. And for me, that's therapy. I love to see all the horses, but it's especially nice to see your own. And that's why it's great if people in the syndicate have the facility which we have, well, when we opened GG's Racing, to go down to the yards of Simon Pearce, Dylan Cooner, and see their horses. I can meet them down there. You can actually get more in touch with them. We can go to the gallops, we can see them work. You can experience the morning breakfast. You just feel part of a community. And we've been lucky when the bar's been open, the horses have been running, and certain people can't get there because of work commitments. And we've watched the horse run and win in here. And it's a euphoric moment. So we're very lucky to have this facility as well. And it's just about building a community, and people love to go racing and be involved. And you have obviously your group WhatsApp chats, and we put videos up all the time of the horses. We've got newsletters going out, interviews with the trainer. We're also obviously very big now on social media. When the horses run, you get the video from the jockey to tell all of the members how the horse ran immediately after the race, which is very important for feedback. And we're also entering into sort of a more of a digital age. I've just personally done a deal with a heartbeat monitoring system, which I'm not completely au fait about, but it basically can tell you the horse's stride, etc., the speed, the pace when it's working. So as a trainer, we'll have a better recognition of how the horse is working that day, not only by their expert eye, but also by the computer's technology. So it is all moving forward, but unfortunately these things do cost. So what we try to do is just spread the cost over as many people as we can that would be involved in racing. And there's different models of syndication. I mean, the way we're going to probably run GG's racing is we will, instead of having the members paying for the actual horse, we'll probably buy the horse and lease them to the club, and they can have 100% of all of the prize money that the horse wins. You pay one set fee a year, and that means you won't get any expected fees coming through the door that you don't really expect. So you have the option to know that that's your yearly annual payment, and we're actually going to put 5, possibly 6 horses in the racing club, so there's many horses to follow throughout the year. We're going to start off with actually 2-year-olds that some people say it's a risky catalogue, but with that you've got the dream, because until they've raced, they could all be champions. It'd be lovely if just one of them was, but it's the unknown, it's the excitement, and it's the buzz. And obviously we've got our own colours for the club, which will be silver with a gold chevron and a gold hat, very similar to the Go-Go Yabari colours. And they were actually colours that my dad owned many years ago, and just before he passed I actually managed to buy them back. So they're sort of very close to my heart, and that's why I designed the new racing club colours, very similar, and to keep in with the bar, the silvers, the greys and the golds, to keep the colour theme going. So, and we've also named majority of the horses all with GG on it. So we've got Dapper GG, One Sassy GG, we've got Ice GG, we've got Magna GG, and we also got a horse that was already named called 3 on Thursday. So they're all going to be recognised by the GG banner, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of success. But what people really have got to understand with syndication, it's just the best way of getting involved at a low price, and you've got all the facilities. You can phone up, come down, all the trainers will welcome you down to their yards. You can see how the mechanics work. All of the staff work so hard, and they absolutely adore these horses, and you really appreciate how well they're looked after, and the care and the attention that goes into these animals is actually phenomenal. We've actually opened a club room down in Simon Pearce's yard, where we've got a couple of computers, some tea and coffee facilities, some chairs. We've even got a big screen in there so we can watch some replays of the horses when they run. And it's a fun social aspect. That's what we're looking for. And then we can obviously, on timing from the trainers, we can go up and watch them on the gallops, and that's just a thrill in itself, watching your horse on the gallop. And I promise you now, it won't make no difference if you own 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. It's you're part of that horse, and the way that we design the club for you guys to be a part of 5, possibly 6 horses and have that interest throughout the year is fantastic. People always ask me, can we go to every meeting? Unfortunately, the way the race courses work, they won't allow you to have unlimited tickets, but we will do a very fair balance system. And there's a lot of time that a lot of members can't go because of work commitments and other reasons why they can't make it. But as, i.e., if you want to call it the manager of the syndicate, I will always endeavour to try and be there myself and always try and get extra tickets for everybody. But we obviously will get a discount on tickets that need to be purchased. So it's a very good opportunity for people to go and watch their horse run. And it for me, it's a way that people like myself, the working class man, can go and get involved in the sport of kings without going to the sales and buying horses for hundreds and hundreds of thousands and having a bill every month for probably £3,500, which in this day and age with the living crisis is a lot of money. But I think the way forward is syndication, and the way that we run our syndicate will be a personal view of how I think it should be run. But there's some amazing syndicates out there that run it slightly different. Well, we was very lucky enough to acquire a lovely filly called Go Yabari. She was a 3-year-old, and we bought her from a very good trainer named Murphy. And I just felt personally that she may need a little change of scenery and a different outlook on life. And knowing Dylan quite well, I asked Dylan and his wonderful father, Louis Cooner, to come down and have a look at some of the horses in the sale. We sat there for 4 days and went through quite a number of horses, and some weren't quite right, some were too much money for us, and I always kept coming back to this little filly. And I think it was the last day after trolling through lots of horses and the Tattersall sales book for 4 days, and keep putting lines across this one and revisiting that one and walking all the way back down to the bottom of Tattersall's, then walking back up. I think you do about 15,000 steps a day when you look at all these horses. And we just kept coming back to me sort of saying to Dylan and Louis, what's the pedigree like to Louis, because Louis is an absolute genius on pedigrees. And he was very much in favour per page, as they call it, which is basically the history of the horse at Tattersall's. When you buy a horse, you see all the breeding and you see basically the family tree, and that's the way you can tell if it's the bloodlines that you could possibly buy in something that can win over a certain trip or like certain goings. And then we had a bit of luck. You could watch a couple of her ex-races that she'd raced a couple of times before. Some people just see certain things differently. It's just like a matter of opinion. And I said to Dylan, I want you to come down and have a look at her physically, and if you like her, I think we should go ahead and try and buy her. And Dylan come down and said, yeah, no, she's a lovely little filly. I think she's got to develop. She'll need a little bit of time, but I think next summer you'll see her improve immensely. So we took the gamble, and we was willing to go to probably 10,000 to her, and we managed to buy her for 5. And Dylan, first of all, just said, like, this is a really, really strong, tough little filly. We're delighted the way she settled in. I think we're going to give her a quick run, which, listen, when you pay trainers the money, you listen to their expertise, and we went along with it. And I think the first 1 or 2 runs, he said, well, she's not quite there yet, but she'll win very soon. And how right he was. And she's, as I said, won 5 times now this year. I think there's only 3 horses in the whole of the UK that have managed that feat. And considering we only bought her sort of late November or December, she's run sort of 11 times and she's won over £25,000 in prize money already. And I believe she's just starting to come into herself, and I think there's a hell of a lot more to come. And she's gone from sort of 57 to 70 quite quickly. And when you see her fully improving, I really do think that there could be a lot more to come from her. And we're very excited because there could be a small opportunity of running on Derby Day in one of the 3-year-old dashes. And these are the things that you will see all the biggest owners in the world there. And there's sort of little old us with a horse of 5,000 that are going to be mixing the owners and trainers room with the likes of them people, because we did a little syndicate. And you see it at Cheltenham, you see it at Royal Ascot. These are the pinnacles of anyone's career in racing. You want to be at them big meetings. And in my opinion, the only way you can affordably be able to do it, unless you're a multi-millionaire, is to get involved in syndication. Yeah. That's why I'm so for syndication. If it was down to my own personal wealth to own these racehorses, I wouldn't be able to have one. But you syndicate it, you share the cost out, and you can get there. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we will be there on Derby Day, rubbing with the rubbing shoulders.
Lovely, thank you.